Okay, so today we're going to be tracking the pretty diversified questions, and that is the college actually worth it. So this is something that people can get pretty uh, positioned about. So I want to leave your thoughts on this down below as to whether or not you think that college is actually worth it. But let me first start this off by the throwing up this chart. Here's just to show you some various cost of the livings over the past 40 years in their increases in total prices. So we see that the cost of the food, the customer's price index, the cost of the shelters, they all gone up by the few hundred percent, maybe a couple hundred percent in some cases. We can also see that the cost of the medical care has gone up over 600%, which kind of matters some sense, considering the tremendous medical advances that I have seen in the past 40 years. I mean, we have done so much in the medical medicine in the past 40 years to see those increases in the prices are pretty justified. But then we have this outlier here, which is over the 1200% growth in the past 40 years, which is the cost of the college. And this is the really kind of the surprising the scene. And when you look at this, you say, well, maybe we can explain this away. Maybe our wage growth has been increasing at a very fast rate as well, but in reality, wage growth has not been nearly as fast going as the cost of the college. So when we look at this, you can tell that the cost of the college is definitely increasing. That the other various different costs that we have had within our everyday lives, and it's going a lot faster, which means that it's not as worth it as once used to be. But does it mean that it's not worth it entirely? So just to give you an example here to really help you to visualize this and digest the message that we have the sharing in this video. Let me just throw up this video diagram that I kind of created for you, and this is the really gonna help you to visualize it. Maybe you can find yourself in these situations as well. You can find yourself being one of those people who, let's just say, we have Kevin and Bob. Both are 18 years old. They graduated high school, and Kevin decided to go to the 4-year university to get a bachelor's degree, while Bob decided to not get a bachelor's degree. He decided to not have any future education past a high school's diploma. So after the 4 years, let's say that Kevin he goes before a year university, he spends $30,000 per year on his university. So after 4 years of the $9,120,000. Now it depends where you go to university. Some places like the New York or Harvard or some other pretty prestigious schools can be charging upwards of the $70,000 per year. When it's all said and done, you can look that up on your own mind. I'm making that up. There's some really incredibly expensive universities that we have in today's world, but then there is also some universities where it might be or $15,000 per year. So we are going to average this out and say that the Kevin pays about $30,000 per year for this college education. So for years, he is 23 years old. He is negative $120,000. Now let's take Bob over the Bob. He goes into the workforce and he ends up making an average salary of somebody with the high school diploma, which is the $37,000 per year, and rank that out over the 4 years. Now this probably isn't going to be the given here. He is not going to make the less in the first few years, but just to make this example a lot easier to digest, we are going to leave out some minor details such as wage growth, and we are just going to average this down, say $37,000. 2 years statistics are coming from the BLS jobs, which is the Bureau of the Labor Statistics. So $30,000 per year times yearly 4 years at age 22, Bob has made about the $148,000. Give or take a little bit, but about what about $148,000 when it's all said and done. So you can see right here, by the age of 22, there's a pretty big difference between these two people. Those are more than the $250,000 difference between the Kevin and the Bob. Is how you can really see how much these decisions to go to the college or not to go to the college can really have the only life. So there's this really large opportunity costs here that ends up making the difference about the $250,000 between these two people. Now going forward with this is where it starts get a little bit interesting. See, because the average salary for somebody with the 4-year college degree is about $60,000 per year. This is once again coming from the Bureau of the Labor Statistics. So what we are going to do is we are going to drag this out over the 40 years for each of those of these salaries. We are not going to adjust for the wages growth because they should grow at somewhat similar rates, and those minor details won't really affect the overall pictures that they are trying to paint here. So after 40 years of the drag out, this salary is $60,000 per year. For the college graduate at $37,000 per year for the high school diploma. When you go out over the 40 years, and you can see that the Kevin has made about $2.4 million, while the Bob has made about $1.6 million. So Kevin has made a pretty decent amount more money than Bob has made over his lifetime, about 50% more money than the Bob has made. So when you look at this example, it really does appear that the statistically college is still wasn't, Kevin about $0.8 million more over his lifetime than Bob made. Now the key word there is statistically. See, this isn't always going to be the case for everyone, and this is really probably the most important part of the video here. You don't have to go to the college, and just because statistically it is worth it. In the average, you're going to make more money as the college graduated than someone with the high school diploma, and that does not mean that you need to go to the college. I made the video a couple of weeks ago about the 9 different jobs that don't require the 4-year college degree. I will leave the link for that video down in the descriptions box below this video if you want to check out to find some different jobs that don't require the 4-year degree, but you don't have to go to the college. See, I know plenty of the people, I couldn't even count them on my hands, the people that I know who don't have the college degree, who graduated high school, and they are making around over $100,000 per year. Now, I also know somebody who has the PhD and they work at the gas stations. So just because you get that degree, it does not mean that you are going to make more money, and that's the really important to keep in mind as you go forward in your life and you decided whether or not you want to go to the college. So if you really don't want to go to the college, you don't have to just make sure that you plan something out of that. You can make a decent amount of the money, or at least comfortable living out of the high schools instead of the kind of the just randomly going out of there and trying to snag a job without really planning it now. So that's the great way of the doing it. Now, what you want to start the businesses, what if want to be the entrepreneur, should you go to the college? And this is kind of where I get into the sort of this gray area, because if you ask some people like the Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk, who they have been quoted many times as saying the college isn't really worth it for somebody wants to start a business as well. You can have somebody like the Mark Cuban, who is repeatedly said that the college really can be worth it for people who even want to start the businesses. You're going to learn so much in the college, so it's really kind of the depends of the case by case situations for the somebody who wants to start the businesses. But overall, should you go to the college, is it worth it? Yes, it's worth it. You don't have to go to theirs to others' opinions, because that's this video. If you enjoy, you don't forget to drop the like, share it with the others. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time.